Coming up, it's not the size of the computer you have, it's how you use it. Let's see what the bucket has in store today. This is Bucket Bites. Welcome to Bucket Bites, another fun-filled episode where someone somewhere is just trying to bring us down. Last week, we had a tree fall on the power line, or the whatever, and then a transformer blew. So that got like shut down like right as we started. And then this week, I'm getting ready to get things prepped, and my hard drive dies. And of course, it's the hard drive that has Windows on it and all the other good stuff. So welcome to Bucket Bites. I'm Papa Post. With me today, I've got Suggestive Gaming, and Josh from Suggestive Gaming. You think one of these times I'd figure that out. How to properly introduce you.
I respond to both. I'd eventually make it known that I have a name. I'm a human being.
Sometimes. But with us today, we've got Henry from DarkFusion Systems.
Hello.
Welcome aboard. And it's not DarkFusion Systems. It's not DarkFusion's Systems. It's DarkFusion Systems, because I've clearly been having issues with that.
Third time's the charm.
It's okay. And I'm the one that asked you to come on. My God. So,
it's good to be here.
No, I'm glad that you're here. I'm really excited to talk to you because I've had quite a few questions since I ran into you at the Midwest Gaming Classic. Back in, when was that? March? Was it?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So me and then co-host, we call him Profe, his name's John. We went out, and actually my buddy Ricky, who's also a co-host, was there as well. So that whole time I went there with the idea of just having a good time, maybe meeting some people, and maybe somebody that can come on the show later. And I gathered a stack of business cards and contacts, and I lost them. So the other, like it was a couple weeks, months ago, I was really trying to think, like, man, who stood out that really I wanted to have on? And it was when we were down on the main hall, going through where you guys were. And I'm like, do you know what? I remember there was a computer company. Okay, now the reason why I remembered you might be a little sus, but you had these really cool USB cables that were like, I don't know if they were magnetic or what. So like that's what stuck with me. But then you also have these really cool tiny PCs, and I really like the chassis on them. So first of all, why the hell did you get rid of the cool USBs?
Honestly, it's not really our choice. The artisan that we had make these, which they're located, their company is located, about an hour and a half from my office and about an hour 40 from my home. Mm-hmm. And the guy closed up shop. He went on to something else, and I do not consider myself a cable manufacturer. Sure. And so better leave that to the true artisans. And we're tentatively looking for a replacement, but right now the computers have been really, really popular, and that's been taking a lot of our attention.
That's exciting. So talk to me a little bit about like what you guys do, because if you guys don't know, DarkFusion Systems, I don't know if can I just call it DarkFusion, or do I have to say the full like
do the
systems?
First part that works for me.
Okay, I'll make sure I leave out the LLC. You guys have really cool. Would you consider them like micro ATX? Then
these are actually mini ITX, so okay. It is technically the smallest mainstream platform for the motherboard.
Okay,
so, mini ITX. And then all the power supplies in these units are all SFX units. So that's smaller than your general ATX power supply. So you can really cram a lot and quick side note, with all of these new high-end video cards that are coming out and the new high-end CPUs that are consuming a lot of power, we're seeing power supply manufacturers start to up that wattage. So it's just we win when there's competition in the market. So
Really?
I was a little apprehensive at first with the 4000 series from NVIDIA, but we've started to see a little bit of an uplift in overall wattage.
Yeah.
And also our DNA 3 from AMD. Those are small. Those video cards are a lot smaller than the 4000 series.
Are they?
So.
We were going to talk about that. I do have that on the docket. So you said that you win, and Josh, feel free to interject because I'm talking a lot. But
no, go ahead.
You said that because of these new systems requiring so much more power that you're winning. Do you mean you as a company or us as
all
gamers,
of us?
or
all of us is so well purely from a power consumption perspective. When that goes up, I mean that's not great because you're going to have to pay a higher power bill. But the fact of the matter is, you're getting a lot more performance now, and we're seeing a lot more competition from actors who weren't always competitive even 5 years ago.
Okay.
You see this like neck and neck with AMD and Intel on the CPU side of things. Intel's jumped into the fray with video cards, which is crazy, and they've actually done an okay job. But then what really excited me, I think it was yesterday when AMD announced their 7000 series video cards, the RDNA 3 units. And there's no official, as far as I can tell, no official benchmarks released, but some people are talking about them getting very close to a 4090 with a smaller form factor.
So I do want to step in real quick. So DarkFusion, do you guys? So I took a look at your site, and
Sure.
So I saw the small chassis, which are incredible, and I kind of want one.
All right.
Do you guys so do you build kind of into that small form factor, or is it just you sell them, the components, and it's a DIY solution?
Yeah,
like
so
the IKEA of small computers.
Right. So no kit builds. So we will sell you the case on its own, and we can do customization. We can do a custom powder coating. We work with the actual manufacturer of the case, located in Nevada. They're moving to Utah as we speak. But they'll do custom powder coating with us, and we'll also do custom feet for it. We'll do a custom power button. We can do a bunch of fun stuff with the cases. We can sell that on its own. Or we do the full boutique build. And that's, you can do custom power supply cables that are fitted just for this case. They're not like just a general use one. They are actually wired out just to fit the Dark Phoenix, which are really cool. We don't make those. There's a company, I believe they're located in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, that makes them by hand.
Okay.
That's really cool. But we'll do the full build with you. And the nice thing is, I come up from a consulting background outside of DarkFusion, and that's something I really enjoy doing. I like talking, as you can tell. So please tell me to shut up at any point. But I like to interact with our customers because at the end of the day, it sounds canned, but it's not. It's a community. All of us nerds, we're in a community here, and we're all here to support each other as best as we can. So I like that back and forth email or a phone call where I don't like the basic configurator and then there it goes out the door. Like if you call DarkFusion or you send us an email, it's either myself or my team member Brian who will pick up the phone and respond. Probably me though. I'm fast.
So you're start to finish. You work with the consumer to get a PC built for their solution out the door to them. They plug it in. It works.
Yes. Awesome. Yes. But if you're like me and you like to build your own stuff, totally cool. And you really like our case, great. Then we'll sell you the case on its own. Bada bing, bada boom. And we'll obviously we'll help. If you're like, hey, will this part fit? Give us a call.
Oh, okay. So when you're developing these systems, then it's kind of a choose your own adventure type story into building this, right? You're not giving us set options that say, this is what I want it to do. These are the parts I want. Make it work. Or like, how much limitation is there?
So that's a good question, and that really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So we have two cases that you can build the system around: the Dark Phoenix Pro. If you tell me you want to put an ATX motherboard in this case, it's not going to fit. So that's out. So there's certain, I guess, maybe guide rails that we have internally. So someone will say, hey, I do a lot of traveling and I do a lot of work with, actually, it's a customer we're working with right now. They do like theater productions, and they do run a bunch of lighting and sound and everything like that, and they need a lot of firepower they can carry around. Okay, that's the Dark Phoenix, the base, the smaller one, and we'll go through there, and they'll tell me what kind of software they're going through, and we know from experience and other consuming other people's content of testing, reputable sources plugged to Gamers Nexus, Nice Tech Tips, and so on, and we're able to get get an understanding of how these parts are going to perform and what tasks will they do really well. So if someone says, "Hey, I have $4,000," okay, well, we're not going to, and we want to use Adobe Premiere, well, we're not going to bias it all towards one part because that's a software that likes to use, a mix or whatever the solution might be. That's just an example. But so we'll kind of set up guide rails based on what the person wants to do. If someone comes and says they want to do a custom crazy water cooling loop, I'll point them somewhere else. Not because I don't want their business, but that's just not what we do. So I guess that kind of answers the question.
Yeah, so key being is, I mean, you focus on working with the customer and what they need, and
yes,
I do like hearing that you're not afraid to send them elsewhere if it's not something you can provide.
You know what, you have to stay honest. Like, I mean, I love water cooling setups, but I don't have one. I'm actually running one of our DarkFusion computers right here. That's what we're streaming on. I think they're really cool. It's just, I think that the style of this kind of maybe understated, kind of sinister look, that's what it's all about. But and if that's not your thing, that's totally cool. This is the tough part with this business. There's a lot of other people in the business, and a lot of people like to build their own. So you have to have your niche, and you need to know exactly what you're doing in your niche.
So that brings up another question: is a lot of your work local or?
Good question. Pretty aggressive. I would say 4 to 5 years is kind of starting to end of life for a lot of components in a commercial environment. 2 years is aggressive. So we've been moving there. But we've also had people find us through the Midwest Gaming Classic, which was really great. We had a sign-up sheet just to, people, if they want to, have us contact them, the following week. And also Instagram's been surprisingly effective. So and then we've had people from all over the country reach out. It's been really cool. Very cool.
I don't know if I'm just like a late adopter of Instagram, but I feel like so many businesses and just people in general like use Instagram to like, I never realized how deep people go into Instagram to like show and share their businesses, what they're doing. Like, I always figured that's what Facebook was for, but just in the last like 4 months, I've seen more and more just focus on Instagram. Like we've been interviewing people at my normal job for marketing, and like what these people showcase, a lot of like, especially like the newer people, there's a lot of Instagram focus. I don't want to do a whole bit on Instagram. It surprises me. So
I think it's twofold, because it's got that, well, one, it's got this heavy photo focus. So if you're about, a product, not necessarily a service, but a product, this is your time to show it off. But also, I think Meta, the company who owns Instagram, is trying to compete with like the TikToks, because they have the Reel system, and it's basically a US version of TikTok.
Just while we're on the topic of social medias, have you guys seen? Have you been following the whole Elon Musk Twitter takeover thing?
I feel really weird about owning a Tesla right now.
So I saw this thread, and I'm just gonna mention it. We can go from wherever, but I saw this thread where he was talking with, just asking questions about like, hey, how do we make this better? And apparently, there's some application in China that basically everyone uses. It's kind of a mixture of, like TikTok and Instagram, and like people buy stuff off of it and all this other stuff. And like he's like trying to turn Twitter into this one-all be-all kind of platform. And I don't know if anybody else has seen that, but I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Like, what would you feel about like you log on to Twitter and you have to go through like, I don't know, like a menu to get to tweets or to like kind of like Facebook. You know how like Facebook has like a marketplace, so to speak. But like, what if there's like an official like Twitter grocery store? Not that's extreme, but is that like what would you think about that?
I
Josh,
hate
you
it.
get the point. Let's go.
Yeah, just because, I mean, like you said, Facebook has the marketplace, and I feel once we make something everything, it becomes nothing.
Right.
Like, I go to Twitter because I want to go to Twitter. If Twitter becomes everything, all of a sudden, it's like, well, where am I going? Like, if I
Mhm.
want to buy something, generally speaking, I'm gonna go to Amazon or Best Buy or wherever.
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, like when something loses focus, it becomes too ambiguous, and
Sure.
you lose the reason to visit it.
That's true.
You need to own your thing. I really am a strong believer in that. And if you don't believe in something, you're susceptible to believing in nothing.
Right.
It's a dangerous road to go down. Like Walmart, you know who Walmart is. You know what they do. You know what McDonald's does. You don't go to McDonald's for a salad. You know what McDonald's is doing. If McDonald's tries to become a Walmart and like a health food store, you're gonna lose everybody because you have the brand association. And I think Twitter's gonna have that potential problem. But I could be wrong.
Right. No, it's all speculation at this point anyways. Who knows what's actually going to come of it. What do you guys Josh, I am curious though. The $8 verified thing for Twitter. How do you feel about that?
I get it to an extent because like his whole argument is there are too many bots on Twitter, which is true. So the whole idea is if you make somebody actually pay for it, there is a person behind that account.
Mhm.
The only problem there is there's going to be plenty of bot farms that are still going to pay $8 a month to make their bot
Oh, for
accounts
sure.
work and look legitimate. So I don't know. Like I feel it's kind of half of a good idea, but it doesn't solve the problem it's trying to solve.
I agree.
Fair enough. Sorry, I didn't mean to take that tangent off into social media land, but
Oh, that's all right.
I don't even know how we ended up there. That's how things go.
It's current news post.
It is
it
current
says.
Current events.
Speaking
There
of
you go.
current news, you brought up the whole AMD, the new GPUs that were coming out, Henry.
Yeah.
Did okay. So before I ask you how you're gonna plan in putting all these new components into your systems, did any of you guys watch their showcase or see any clips from it or anything like that?
I read the or part of a newsletter that AMD released.
Okay.
And I did watch a little bit of what a Linus Tech Tip video. Actually, well,
Sure.
just one.
Okay. Okay. So I only want to bring this up just in case anybody else out there's kind of like seen some of these clips. But when they did the announcements for this new 7000 series for AMD, it very much reminded me of Sony announcing the PS4 right after the Xbox. Because they did, they mentioned on the whole, oh hey, you won't have melting power supply pins and your boards won't fry, and oh hey, by the way, it's $300 less. So I was just curious if you guys have seen that because I was laughing, just because it was so like it just felt so much like Sony ripping on Xbox on those announcements. So
I have not watched it, but now I want to, as somebody whose motherboard completely died after putting a 4090 in it for some reason.
so
Oh boy.
Henry, okay, we have to get to this before we forget again because last week or 2 weeks ago when we had Shura on, we were talking about it and then we got kind of cut off because, well, I mean she was playing us a lovely tune with her recorder. Dude, okay, so explain what happened with your 4090.
So I got a 4090. Day one, I was able to order one. I was like,
You.
awesome, great. No, well, hold on. I was like, great, awesome. I got one ordered from Newegg. This is great. It was a gigabyte. I've never owned a gigabyte card before, but whatever. So I get it. I put it in, and it doesn't boot like the first time. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I put in my old card. I update my NVIDIA drivers. Put in the new card again. It's still a little iffy, but like on the third go, it boots. So I'm like, okay. So I had I think an 850 watt power supply.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe the power supply is not strong enough. I'm going to turn this thing off. I'm going to not risk it. I'm going to get a new power supply and then see how it goes. So I get 1,000 watt, put it in. My PC just won't boot. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I put in my old graphics card, won't boot. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So maybe it's the power supply. Old power supply, old graphics card, won't boot.
Oh.
Old power supply, no graphics card,
Won't boot.
won't boot.
Oh no.
So I'm like, okay. So I end up rebuilding my PC essentially.
Oh no.
Put in the new graphics card, still doesn't work, but the old graphics card does, which is a 3080. So I'm back on my 3080. I returned my 4090, got a refund because obviously they can't replace it because There's no stock. So now I'm
Yeah.
back to, do I buy a 4090 or do I wait until NVIDIA releases a graphics card that works? Because these things seem to be riddled with a lot of issues, as you
Right.
alluded to.
I mean, or as long as it
So
doesn't melt.
basically what it comes down to is I paid $2,000 for the opportunity to rebuild my computer.
Yeah, I shouldn't laugh. It's just yeah.
No, I mean, it is what it is. I'm surprisingly, I wasn't even that mad because I was due for an upgrade anyway.
Okay.
So, but it was one of those things where it's like, you just expect to swap out a graphics card, and then the next 2 days I'm running back and forth between my house and Best Buy and
Oh man.
waiting for components. But now I got it, fresh PC.
Best Buy
Right
runs
before-
aren't that bad though.
Right before the 13th gen Intel processors came out, though, which annoys me.
That's true. That's
Because
true.
I just bought a brand new 12th gen.
Yeah, did you? What are you running? 12.9?
What's that?
Was it 12.900 or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. I'm just a little peasant with my 12.700.
That's what I had before.
Is it a noticeable upgrade?
Yeah.
Is it
But
really?
also, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was my motherboard or my processor, but when I first installed the 12.7, it was weird. The task manager on Windows for some reason would take 30 seconds to come up.
Oh, that's weird.
And it was only after I installed the processor, but now it's fine.
All right,
So
Master
something was up
Computer
with my
Builder
processor, I think.
at DarkFusion. What did he do wrong? Why is his task manager taking too long to open?
Yeah, what's
I was just
going
gonna
on?
say that it's very interesting. With brand new from the ground up builds, that's something that we really don't run into, and even outside of DarkFusion, I really don't run into. But when you start replacing parts, that's where things can get a little funky. Not always, but we did an upgrade for a customer a little while ago, and it's really honestly what can really help is a BIOS flash, chipset drivers. That can really yeah. Also,
That
let the
actually-
system. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Well, I was gonna say let the system initialize the new part. Sometimes it takes a couple of restarts, and you might have to do some other finagling, but it's typically a couple of things here and there finagling with the system, and then it works fine. But that's almost, I would say it's 50-50, but just dropping something in and getting it to work right away perfectly. From my experience,
What's your opinion on when I should start a fresh Windows install versus just plug something in and hope it works
When your
with
hard
my,
drive does?
with my hard drive.
That has your
So
Windows
that's
installation?
Yeah.
I know
that's a
we
bit
got-
of a loaded question. What I do personally, I guess, do as I say, maybe not as I do. When I build a system, I keep it for about 4 to 5 years, and then I keep that same Windows install, unless there's a critical problem that I can't figure out, and I don't want to take the time to mess around with drivers. And I say, okay, everything else is backed up, nuke it. Nuke it from orbit, start again. That's kind of my philosophy. And that's every person's situation is a little bit different. And again, it's truly nuanced. If you have a lot of different files across the computer, you have a lot of very specific settings, which some of our customers do. They'll have different profiles with their mouse and keyboard and the software that's loaded, and they don't want to reset that, and it's not saved to the cloud. And there's other things we'll have to do. But me personally, blast it from orbit. I don't want to deal with it personally. I deal with that on a business day. Personally, I don't want to deal with it. So.
Because you brought up the cloud, I need to know.
No.
I need to know for redundant storage. Say cloud, or should I set up a fucking server and store all my stuff?
That also depends. Are you just how actively are you taking files? Like,
About
are you hitting
1%.
this a lot?
About 1% of the volume that Josh does.
Well, yeah,
That doesn't
that's
answer your question.
No.
It's not much. It's
probably
honestly not
less
much.
than that too. 'Cause
No. I suppose that's true. That's very true.
Under this desk right here, I have 14 12 terabyte hard drives.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It sounds goofy, but it's really not. If you're accessing like B-roll and if you're accessing things that you're hitting, you need quite frequently, but you want it in an archive. That's where you want your physical store or some physical storage on site, or at least readily accessible. But things that you're maybe never going to use for like the rest of the year, but you might want in a year or two, and just to download it and share it, that's a cloud thing. That's
Okay.
personally.
All right.
Sometimes gonna archive away. I mean, heck, you put it on like an archivable disk if you really wanted to.
Sure.
Magnets.
Put it in, right. Put it in a fortress and lock away. No, but that's kind of what I'll do. You know, because obviously we're a business and we will back up some stuff to Google Drive, and it just sits there because we don't need it. Or like tax documents, for instance.
Sure.
Unless there's an audit, I don't need the last 4. You know, I only need 4 years ago tax return.
Yeah.
Post, I say, magnetized tape and send it to Iron Mountain.
Right.
Okay. Why Iron Mountain?
They're just a storage facility. There's one in there's one in St. Francis. So that's
okay. Well, that's a lot that's a lot closer than sending something to Iron Mountain.
Well, no, Iron Mountain's the name of the company.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
there's Iron Mountain,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
That's what I thought you meant.
Oh, okay. Maybe they're from there. I don't know.
Not to dox myself, but I live in St. Francis. Is there really an Iron Mountain like facility here?
Yeah, it's right by the airport.
Wow. Doxed. Okay. I just doxed myself.
I guess it's probably not St. Francis. It's right on the border of St. Francis and
St. Cudahy. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. I'm not gonna say anything because I'm not gonna get doxed too. So
we're all Milwaukee boys.
Yeah, we are all Milwaukee boys. Yeah, and so all these names are familiar to me. So just to bring it up, because I don't think we really brought it up yet, but we're doing a giveaway today not on today's podcast, but we're starting it today. Henry, you have decided to throw up a couple of your Dark Raven mats. Did I say that right?
So yes, you did.
I did. Look at me go.
So it's a bit of a convoluted history. So we originally had these things called dark matter desk mats. Actually, I can't really see it, but I'm using one right now.
Okay.
These are really great. These are the original ones, and actually these were designed by that same artist who did our cables in Madison.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and so one of the reasons why they're kind of no longer. I mean, we have them in stock. We have a lot of them in stock, but we're no longer like actively pushing them. As much, I should say, is because once we run out of stock, that's the end. And they're really, really nice. They're 4 millimeters thick, which doesn't sound very thick, but they have a really nice rubbery bottom and they're nice stitch edges. But yeah, so we have I think we're giving away 2.
Yeah, you said 2. So and that's what I've been writing down is 2. So
great.
False advertising if it's not 2 anymore. But
2 it is.
2 sold. But no, you've decided to throw down 2 of these to a lucky winner, which if you're watching it live, you can actually do ! giveaway in the chat. Or if you're watching this on YouTube later or listening to it on a podcast later, you don't get the live code. There's actually a live code on the screen right now. If you do ! Giveaway and you fill in some of the stuff, you'll unlock the live code section. And if you put that code that's on the screen, you'll get 10 extra bonus entries. Woohoo! So I'm not going to say that on the cast because that's only for you lucky live listeners, and I'll leave that up there for the rest of the show.
Get them while you can, because once these are gone, we're not making that specific desk mat anymore. We have other desk mats that are really great, but the original dark matter design with like the kind of like the ripped and teared look, and tear look. Once that's out, we're out.
Okay.
So
I ended up getting the what's the pattern called? It's the ones like topography.
The fourth dimension one.
Fourth dimension,
and see that one we have. That's actually a US made one too, which is cool. The dark matter is not, but the dark I think the fourth dimension design is a US product, which is really cool.
That's cool. You said the design was somewhat local too, right?
So that is, I believe it's Missouri. I'll double check.
Missouri? Okay, I thought you said Ohio.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's Missouri, or at least I'm sorry, they're die cut in Missouri. I'll have to double check where the artist resides. But
sure. I guess it's not that important. Give us a social security.
Either way, it's you're right. Either way, it's US, and we're really proud of that. So
no, that's important to me too. That's super important to me. So yeah, we're giving away these mouse pads. You can enter with the link. It'll be in the description of the podcast as well as the description to the YouTube video. And henceforth, stay tuned to the rest of the show because I'll be giving you there's another code that you can enter. So people that are live are going to get 2 codes today for extra points. But people watching back will get that as well. Sorry, had to plug it. I was going through your Instagram not too long ago.
Okay.
And I can't remember the name of it now, but I have a bone to pick with you because you were promoting some what's the coffee thing? Who does the coffee?
Oh, so that is so we had something called Blackout, and that was a Stone Creek
Stone
Creek
Creek
product.
made it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I did not sit there and grind the beans or load the beans, but those were really cool.
Okay.
And those are delicious. That's actually, I have a bunch in my personal collection. I drink that every morning.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just because this show is formally sponsored by my coffee company, Nuclear Coffee. Yeah, but we don't bring it up too often. No, I had to bring it up so I could plug myself. That's gross.
Go for it.
If you take it that way. So okay, we got way off track. We were talking about the new AMD cards, and so obviously these are a little bit smaller form factor. But are you throwing 4080s in your systems right now, or 4090s?
So in the Dark Phoenix Pro, which actually I have back over here.
Go get it.
Sitting on the shelf. Okay. All right, let's roll over here.
Ooh.
Okay.
Dude, look
so
at
it's a
how
little
small
bit bigger.
That thing is.
I was just gonna say the fact that he could roll over there, pick it up, and
Dude, well, I mean, it's also empty, but like
but still, like I can't pick up my PC case even if it's empty and just.
Well, it's because it's a fridge.
Well, that's true too, but I just in general, like that's a good form factor right there.
Well, thank you. And to me, I'm so used to the original Dark Phoenix. I mean, that easily, like the original system fits inside of this, no problem. Like, or I mean, not no problem, but it's very. I mean, this is quite a lot larger, and even then, this is still
not
small.
with the chassis and everything. Just the components. But do you mean you don't mean the chassis too, right?
The chassis almost could fit inside of this. It's
God.
almost. I should put an asterisk there.
That's crazy.
But this is designed to be able to hold a 4090 Founders Edition, just in terms of length, width, and height. To be very clear, I have not put one in here yet. But my next personal build, I'm probably going to end up giving that a whirl. But in theory, this will hold a 4090 Founders Edition. Okay. And the nice thing is this will also take a 240 millimeter AIO. So those people that's why it's called the Pro, because you can truly turn this thing into a wicked workstation. You still might want to do some BIOS tuning, depending on what kind of chip you put in here. But you can get away with a lot in this. And it's still very, very portable. It also has the custom feet here. So very nice.
I see a lot of holes in there.
This is very well ventilated.
I was gonna say, how are the thermals?
And honestly, both cases pretty solid, because at the end of the day, like you said, it's not truly open air, but like, look at that. Other than the front panel here, it's basically vented.
Do you have those like little magnetic filters that you could put on the side?
So we don't make them, and we don't sell them, but I can recommend a company, and we have a pseudo relationship. They're called Dempsey Filter, and I believe they're located in South Africa, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, they do. We can recommend what dimensions to use, and then they'll make it up for you and ship it to you.
Okay. I was just going to say, because I know that those are fairly large holes on the side. Now, obviously, you want to have as much airflow as possible because you're fitting a lot of really hot components in a really small space. What are, like, if you're running a system, like, you haven't put a 4090 in yet, but I'm assuming you've put a 3080 in one?
We have, so the most powerful, so in this one, we're yet to do any builds in the Pro. This just came out. Okay, yeah. This is like a week and a half, 2 weeks tops product.
Exclusive here on.
But right. And I'm hoping to do, actually, we have one customer who's pretty close to pulling the trigger and going with it. Potentially custom powder coat. We'll see that on Instagram, potentially. Okay. Anyway, the Dark Phoenix, I think the most powerful one we've done was a 3070 Ti. Okay. And I think it was an 8-core, 16-thread 5800X.
Okay.
I believe that was the CPU that was in it.
What were your thermals? I gotta know.
When we have to do BIOS tuning on that chip, on that CPU to bring down the temperatures.
Yeah, okay.
But it depends on the games. Like the games, depending on what it was, 60, 70.
Okay.
Because the nice thing about AMD chips, I'm plugging AMD again here, but they, unlike the Intel CPUs, to bring down the temperatures, you don't lose a huge amount of performance if you just set a couple of thermal limiters, versus you having to manually undervolt and manually tweak it. That's why I really like to go with AMD on these systems,
Right.
just because you can get a lot of performance still with just some thermal constraints. But usually our internal like good to go test is that if it's under complete screaming load, if it doesn't break 90C, you're great. Again, that's like Prime 95, hit it, not games. Games usually top end 80, which is warm, but now we're talking about CPUs that have a 360 millimeter AIO and are hitting 100. Sure. So for any build, you're looking at now doing some kind of tuning if you're worried about thermals like that.
Right.
But my system here, I don't go over 80 ever.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And
it still depends on the game and the workloads too. I mean, when you're rendering an Adobe Premiere video, it's long and it just sits there and burns. It's you're hitting it as hard as it can go.
Okay.
Versus like Fortnite or something, or Modern Warfare 2, you're not constantly smashing the CPU. It gets time to breathe, per se.
Okay. So, and Josh, feel free to interrupt if I'm talking and asking too many
questions. I do have
jump in.
A kind of question there when it comes to thermals. Like when you're designing the cases, are you running like thermal analysis? Are you just testing after the fact? Like what's the process of actually coming up with the case design and from start to finish?
So I should clarify. We have a manufacturer, and we do not design these in-house.
Okay.
We have found a awesome manufacturer who has a lot of stuff already, that they're building, and they've done a lot of that work. And there's been some other third-party testing. And so what we'll do then, when we're setting up a build, we already have a general expectation of what thermals to have, because we've personally used those systems. We've actually tested our own hardware in these systems. So we have both a third party, we have the manufacturer, and then we have ourselves with stuff that I can vet myself because it's right here.
Right.
That's basically the process. But yeah, we do not. Pardon me. I am not an engineer, but we work with a great company that does do engineering, that does do design, and all in house. And then they also manufacture it on their property too.
Okay.
All in the U.S.
Okay.
And they do a really darn good job. Like, this is a great combination of steel and aluminum, and they feel they're tough.
Yeah,
this thing, they're really robust. I mean, I wouldn't want to like throw it out of an airplane or something, but mine is, sometimes I have sweaty hands. I've definitely dropped this with parts in it, and I don't recommend doing that, but it's survived.
Okay, so you heard it here. It
without a problem.
The drop test.
Throw it at the wall.
Drops the.
It's passed my drop test,
which is on
that will
nice,
probably
big,
void your
warranty. Yeah, no, thermals is probably the biggest question. With a smaller system, because they don't do smaller systems, but there's another PC building company that was just recently kind of trending on Twitter. SkyTech.
SkyTech, and there's like I
think it's SkyTech is the recent one. There's another one that had different issues from their marketing. But SkyTech they put out a system. This guy reviewed it, and it was totally way over thermals, way too hot.
I've been Gamers Nexus. Was it a guy named Steve Burke?
Yeah, I don't remember the names, but he just, and then SkyTech went and apologized and said, hey, so apparently what happened was their testers signed off on this thing being 90 degrees. They signed off, said it was fine even though it's hot, and still shipped it to the guy. Is that
we don't do that.
Okay, well, you don't send out hot systems, or you don't test
if we don't ship a computer that in testing hits 100 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
How's that? But so it's an interesting point though you bring up, because there's really maybe three, 2 to 3 customer profiles that come to DarkFusion. There's the gamer, who mostly does gaming, maybe some video work on the side or streaming. And that's where the CPU and the GPU have variable load, where it's not just a render slave, basically, where it sits there and just crushes. At that point, we do tend to, that's why you need to know this information. That's why we do the phone call, email,
Right.
and so on. So we want to get you the best product. Someone who's just using this thing as their video crusher, we're going to do more BIOS tuning. You might lose a little bit more performance, but that way when it's sitting there rendering for an hour, it's not bouncing off of the thermal
Right.
limitations of the chip. Versus a gamer where we're going to allow for more headroom because maybe it'll hit 82C worst case, but then it can come down later.
Right.
Versus because maybe it hit all 100% all cores, all threads for 2 minutes in a crazy battle or something.
Right.
But then you're gonna die. Okay, and then the load comes down.
Right.
And it can cool and so on. So
guy-
there's a
This guy
different
thinks I
BIOS
die in
treatment.
video games. I don't die.
At least I do. I'm bad at Modern Warfare. Pretty bad anyway. Just came out.
That's
And, oof.
That's okay. But obviously there's got to be some kind of give because you got these ultra small systems.
That's correct.
But like I held this thing in my hand. I picked it up when I was at Midwest Gaming Classic. Like this thing is tiny.
Yeah, you know what?
it's-
Here, let me see if I can. I'm gonna pause my camera. I'm gonna go grab. No, hope I didn't end the stream.
No, but we we all just adjusted it. We're okay though. We're okay.
All right, good. I'm gonna pull out probably the very exact thing you had.
Yeah. So while he's whipping
Let's
it
see.
out, the computer that is, don't look at me like that, Josh.
Your double entendres today are off the charts.
Good. I'm glad because I'm all worked up
Okay.
today. But
It's that margarita.
my one margarita actually, Mama Post made this and it was like half tequila, half something else. Anyways, let's see this thing.
Okay, so this is probably what you saw.
Yes. Yep.
So here's the size difference. Like quite a bit. Quite a bit in here in terms of just width too.
Do you know what that reminds me of? It just gives off Stormtrooper and Darth Vader vibes. So you got to get some licensing now to get some
Oh,
official.
boy. Call
yeah.
it Disney.
Yeah, just call Disney. Be like, hey guys, I got this stuff. I want to make it
But
cool.
yeah, I mean, I definitely can put more online. But you can even see here in the side of your camera, you can put quite a lot of firepower
Yeah.
in both. But of course, with the Pro, there's less work we have to do because you just have more thermal headroom, and you can also add a larger cooler. But
Okay.
it really, to keep temperatures under control, it's really what the customer needs. And that's why every machine is a little bit different. But that's the value add when you come to someone like us. Trust me, there's plenty of other great system integrators out there
Right.
that'll do, just, okay, cookie cutter, here it goes. You configured it online and it's out. This is a much more hands-on. The customer's really involved. And so we end up working something out. And we don't want something that's going to fail testing and basically just potentially cause damage to the parts over time.
Right. Okay.
Well, I should say earlier, I mean, at the end of the day, all computer components will fail and eventually we all will die.
I know.
But
I know.
But trying to alleviate that and have your stuff that you paid a lot of money for last as long as possible, that's a key part of our business. Always has been, always will be.
Just tell Samsung to make better M.2s and we'll be okay.
And I should say though, Samsung does make pretty good stuff, but it
Well,
sounds like you might have gotten a bad
Yeah,
one.
you know
Well,
what? Though?
yeah, like
Yeah.
like we all learn, nothing's perfect. It's all
Right.
gonna
No,
fail
I just-
eventually.
Right.
It's the first time. It's the first time I've ever had to deal with a failed hard drive.
Everybody remembers their first data loss.
Everyone remembers the first. Right?
Yep.
It hurts so much. I'm just really hoping that it's still salvageable because I was in the process of maybe putting all that old footage on YouTube, from all the shows that I've neglected to do the last 6 months. But that's okay. So Henry, when and why for DarkFusion? Why and when?
So
In
the
any order.
company formally started right after college for me. That was about 2019, that summer. I always knew I wanted to do something with computers and technology. It's kind of who I am.
Yeah.
But the reason why is, without shouting out any specific names, there's a lot of really good companies, but they charge an obscene rate. Like if you use there's a site called PC Part Picker.
Oh yeah.
And if you can configure, your own computer, you can build it, you can order through
Mhm.
that. And then you can compare it to the exact same computer from, I'm not going to say any names, but
Yeah.
other system integrators. And I remember they did this at the very early on in the stages of our business. I was like, okay, someone's making $600 on this computer, like that's obscene. And they're probably also making money on the parts too, because they got to have some kind of deal with like EVGA and AMD.
Some kind of pushback there. Yeah.
So, and I was like, okay, I mean, that's interesting to me, and I understand why they do it. The longer I've been in this business, to be completely honest, but that's not something we've always tried to offer a really premium service at a very reasonable rate.
Right.
And so we have a flat build fee. We charge for the case, of course, and there's a you need to buy the case, obviously, to buy the parts, but the parts are at the price that we acquire from PC Part Picker or Newegg, Amazon. So we're paying market, and then you would charge a $200 flat build fee, consulting fee, warranty thing. So it's $200 basically, $200 plus the cost of the case on top of your normal parts. So it's not a huge lift. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a premium brand, a premium product, so it's expensive. But it's not you're not charging $600 plus whatever the margin they're making on the parts. For a very similar, if not better, experience, because you're working directly with real people. You're getting it supported by the same people who made it and people who like bleed this stuff.
Right.
So
you said something I found interesting. You said when you were comparing prices from like PC Part Picker, and then you're like, oh well, they got like $500-600, on top of that. And obviously you're not doing that. Nobody does this stuff for free, right? It's a business. We're trying to, you got to make a living and keep the lights on.
Exactly.
$200 I think is totally fair. Especially from professionals. But with inflation, I guess I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. With inflation, now there was a topic you kind of brought up in chat, Henry, that you wanted to discuss. In regards to inflation, how it's affecting the gaming market.
Yes.
And like because like Call of Duty, I want to bring up Call of Duty for a prime example of a reason I did not buy a video game because it was $70. I don't own a PlayStation, so I haven't been hit by this $70 game phenomena yet. But it seems like more and more it's going to be happening. Is the $60 video game gone? Your question.
Yeah, that was exactly my question.
It's your question. So I wanna kind of lead it that way. Like, go ahead. I mean, say your thoughts, Henry. Like, you'll be able to articulate this better than I am.
Well, okay. Well, I guess from the DarkFusion point of view, I guess I will loop back on that build fee. Our goal is to keep that. Basically, it's a cost benefit. It's a business decision. We want to try to keep that at the same rate as long as we can. But I also don't have, an HR department. I don't have an accounting department. I don't have legal, and that's where
not yet.
That's where these like hidden costs of any kind of business really start to creep up. It is interesting because I guess
I'm going to cut you off real quick. What's on average? How much time do you think you put into a build?
That's that's really tough too. Sometimes someone will come to us and say, okay, I have $3,000 to spend. I play these games. I don't do any other, video work. That's typically like a 30-minute consult tops.
Sure.
And then the build takes usually about an hour and a half.
Sure.
It depends.
So a couple hours.
Where things can get crazy is that they start adding custom cables. So then I'm sitting there working with, do you want to do like one strand is blue, one strand is green, and then that starts to compound. It's a separate thing, but a very straightforward, high-end, compact build, probably about 2 to 2.5 hours tops.
Okay.
For something very straightforward. Where it becomes an issue though is or not issue, I should say, but where the time starts to add on is, hey, I have a small business, and we do marketing, and 2 of our people are editors, and then it's not a big deal though, because now you're talking about 10 computers.
Right.
So okay, maybe we lose time and money on 1 or 2 of the builds, but we make it back because the rest of them are more simple or whatever the situation is. But how does that answer your question?
No, it does. And so a $200 build fee I think is 100% reasonable. I wasn't trying to say that. Oh, that's high.
If I could step in from because I've worked at businesses in IT departments, and to me, hearing a $200 build / consulting fee is insane, because like we've bought like one-off PCs, and when I say we, I mean the companies I've worked for, like one-off PCs, and have paid upwards of $1,000 just to
wow.
get it made.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
like these are
different,
specifically
yeah.
for like modeling and simulation stuff, but it's no different than any other PC. It's all components in a case, right? So like that to me sounds like, especially if you're a business looking for a custom build, like that sounds way better than, again, not naming any names, but I'm sure the names
Sure.
that I've used in the past or I've seen used in the past are the ones that we all know of. And yeah, it's insane. Just that name brand is going to end up charging you. You said 600, and I was like, even that, I was like, wow, only 600. But so,
And
like,
I should, yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm just saying, like, the 200 for that one-on-one communication with an actual human.
That's insane.
Like,
that's low.
That is a crazy good value.
Yeah,
Well, I like to hear that.
By all means, I was not trying to say that like, oh, inflation.
No,
that's
I got
expensive. Because
No,
it's crazy reasonable.
we think so too. No, there are certain use cases where we are not the right fit, and we try to make that as clear as we can early on. To Josh's point here, if there's a system that's like, okay, we're doing some really specific thing that's very workstation-esque, maybe we do special kind of modeling, and it's outside of our wheelhouse, I'll try to point you to another company, because it becomes, I have to become an expert in something very quickly that I might not be an expert in, and we don't want to set someone up for failure. They get their computer and say, hey, it's great, but it's not what I was expecting.
Right.
Okay, well, that's not good for anybody. Now someone can't do their work, now they're PO'd, and we've sold something that's not perfect, right?
Right.
So I could not say we're selective with our with our clientele, but someone comes to us and it's pretty easy to gauge right away who's the right fit. So Josh, to your point, that build might not have been something that we want to do just because we're not tooled for it.
But again, like that, just that mindset is so valuable as a vendor, because you'll get the vendors who are like, oh, no, we could totally build it. And then to your point, like you get it and you're like, this is not what I was expecting. This is not what I paid for. This is a nightmare. And they're like, well, it's hands off. You got it now.
Right.
So
yeah.
like
I
just hearing
hate that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you obviously care about the product that you're producing. You care about the service that you're providing. And that's that.
Well, thank you.
And again, like on top of the value that you're getting for the price is like, that is great to hear.
Well, thank you. That's very flattering, you guys. But
right,
to the games thing.
Yes. Yeah, you stupid guy. I'm just kidding. I can't think of anything right now. We've only talked for an hour, so I don't have anything bad to say yet. I'm just kidding.
I do want to pick both of your guys' brains, because I'm coming at from a very different space. But I haven't done a ton of gaming as of recently. I mean, I love to game, obviously, but it is interesting. You start to see the creep up, and I wonder how much, from your guys' opinions, how much is the cost increase of games and the release of basically a broken game, and then a flood of DLC right after it, like weeks after, months after. How much of that is a developer's thing? How much of it is a leadership issue? How much of it's an investor issue? And how much of it is just the development cycle for games is broken, and we're trying to fix it, and there's not a good solution yet? Sorry, it's a lot at once, but I'm curious to pick your guys' brains.
From my perspective, I think it's all a publisher / parent company issue, and that's been the case since, I mean, we're going on 3 generations now, where it was like, oh, once you can sell a game and then continuously make money off of it, that's what the focus is on. Nobody cares about actually pushing a finished product anymore. It's all right, put out the game, and then how quickly can we start to get more money out of the people who have already paid the one-time fee to play the game. That's why we have things like battle passes and
purchasable skins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Microtransactions were the big thing, but now that's starting to die down. Now it's like every game has a season pass. Like you can't play a game anymore without having to pay every 2 weeks or whatever it is at this point.
It's ridiculous.
Just for exclusive unlocks, essentially. So like and again, that's all coming from above. I highly doubt any developer or person trying to put out a good experience for their audience is trying to milk you dry. It's people
I would
trying
agree.
to appease shareholders.
I would 100% agree. It's a leadership thing. That's
To-
just my personal opinion, allegedly.
Yeah,
To
I
a-
mean, we're all outsiders. We can only
Right.
guess.
To a degree, however, I think that model of a free-to-play game with battle passes is good.
Oh,
Um,
He's not
free
paying
to
the
play
upfront-
is
right.
that's a different.
But that's the
that's a different-
difference. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have a $40 game, for example, that I've been seeing that more and more lately, where a game that should have been free to play with a traditional battle pass type thing, they're coming out at like $20, $30, $40, and then they have a battle pass. That is where it's not acceptable to me. But yeah,
It's tough.
things like Overwatch, or Apex. I don't like Call of Duty too much. At least the old ones. I really like the new one in its beta, but I don't know. I would agree with everything you guys said. Just there's use cases for free to play games with battle passes. Now, if you release a game and you have a bunch of DLCs that come out after it, that's fine, as long as they're not patches for things that it should have already been in there. Like, think about games like Elden Ring, for example, is a good example where they have some DLC coming out, but that was for the most part, very complete game upon release. Yeah. It's not like
I'll point to a great example of that, which is I can't say anything about the second Destiny, but the first Destiny, like I feel that game should have been Taken King when Taken King first came out. Like the fact that you had to buy what like the game should have been after buying the original game, like that was weird to me.
Sure. No, well, I mean, I guess maybe Overwatch wasn't a good example because all they did was take Overwatch 1 that people paid money for, and then, oh, hey, you could just have all your old skins for free.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. So from a consumer's point of view, I refuse to buy a game if it's $70, unless it's some kind of special edition of some sort. I refuse. I just don't see the value in a game that's $70. I can't.
Well,
do
that's
it.
why I mean it's good that Steam set the precedent ages ago that you can make money off of selling games dirt cheap after the fact. So what's nice is as long as you're a bit patient, like everything's going to drop down to at least 40 eventually.
Yeah, but if you're like an aspiring content creator who's trying to, you don't get the free handouts from companies and stuff, and you want to start producing content, you're left no choice but to either not try to capitalize on this game coming out at $70, $80. I mean, dude, these fucking sport games that come out with these extra cards and points and shit, it's $100 for these games, and all you're getting is fake, and that's a whole different issue, but I don't know. I can't justify it. I remember the big uproar when games went from 50 to 60, showing my age a little bit. But 60 to 70 is too much. There's too many people that play video games now. Like before I understood it, the market wasn't as big, right? You don't have as many people buying video games.
To play devil's advocate though, the cost to produce games is going up.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Because teams need to get bigger as graphics get more advanced, as there's a higher standard for audio. Like you got to think like hundreds and hundreds of people are working on these games.
Right.
So it's like,
it's a fair point. But isn't the video game industry like the largest media industry in the world?
no,
Is it not? I thought I read
No.
that somewhere. No?
probably not in terms of profit, maybe in terms of like
Volume, revenue.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say profit.
Okay. Maybe that's a fair counterpoint. Look, I understand. I do business. I do sales. I understand you got to cover costs. But if you're going to charge someone this dollar amount for a game, these parent companies, publishers, they got to allow the developers to release a complete game. That's where it's like that's why I won't buy games. at full price.
Yeah, let them finish at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Like maybe it would sting less. Like Elden Ring, I would have paid $70 for.
And maybe that's it. Maybe that's what needs to happen is that the price increase can happen, but you need to make damn sure that the game is finished.
Make damn sure. Damn right.
Yeah. I don't
More
know
than
if you
two
guys,
maps for multiplayer, you know?
I don't know if you guys saw Gotham Knights that
Oh,
just came
I
out.
only heard about it. I only heard about it.
Yeah.
But that was a $70 game, and I played it, and that is not a $70 game.
Well, that's just
Oh no.
and see, maybe is it because we're getting older? Like I find myself becoming less friendly to games that maybe I would have enjoyed in the past. Like I know a couple of the like my Dom, who's probably lurking out in chat somewhere. He would God damn it. I'm getting notifications all out of nowhere. Sorry. And I did not mute them yet on Windows. But he will give me crap because he's like, "Oh, you're always so, you don't like this game. That's dumb." And I'm like, well, it's just no value.
You shouldn't
there.
talk to me then, because I hate every single
I know.
game I
Well,
play.
but do you know what's funny, Josh? Do you know what's funny? And that's why I love your opinion. It's because it's always usually 50% of the time it's the opposite of mine. We have differing opinions quite a bit, and that's why I enjoy talking to you about games. But anyways,
But I think the point you're trying to make is like as you get older, you get less of the ability to kind of forgive things, and I think a bit of that is because like your time to play video games decreases. Like you've got a job, you've got kids, like you can't just sit and play video games all day. So when you play a video game, you expect it to be a fun time, and not for like the wrong reasons, especially ones where it's
Yep.
like
absolutely.
they could have easily QA'd this a bit better, and it would be a better experience.
That's all it takes is a little QA.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, and that's where I was going with the Gotham Knights thing. Like, I feel like you could have given that game like 2 months more of development, and it would have been way better. Like, there were so many little things that could have just made that game a way better experience. But you got to push it out. You got to get it out by Q4. Got to get them holiday sales in.
Yeah, but what do you do for the devs then, where they have a game that they delay it a year, and it's still like that?
Are you talking about Cyberpunk in particular?
No. So, Cyberpunk's kind of a weird point for me because I both loved and hate. Well, I played it on PC, so I didn't get to hate as much as other people did.
Yeah, so I did too.
But no, like even like for example, Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That game was like I tried so hard to like that game. I do like that game. It's just so unpolished for a game that was delayed a whole fucking year, and it doesn't have Forge. No Forge? I need to play Laser Bash, man.
So that's true. To go back to your original point, though, so would you say, so you've put a hard line in the sand saying you won't pay $70 for a game.
Unless it's proven to be worth it to me.
So that's the
some way or
thing,
saying
like,
right.
so if it's, if we're saying this game is absolutely 100% as good as that developer can put out,
Mm-hmm.
would you give the $70 gamble? I'm not saying it's a perfect game, obviously. I'm just saying they've had all of the time to polish exactly as much as they could.
So, Call of Duty is a $70 video game that I refused to buy.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hell of a good time in the beta that I played for a couple weekends. I still think about maybe buying that game.
Do it.
I've been thinking about it, but like I don't know. I feel like what I played wasn't a complete game.
Well, you played a beta.
Yeah, it's not a complete game. I'm sorry.
Dude, so for example, one of the beta maps they pulled out like 3 maps that were supposed to be there because of pending, I don't know, litigation, lawsuits, whatever. I'm not sure. There's the Grand Prix map. I don't know if you heard about that. There's supposed to be some map that's on an F1 track, and I don't know if they're
really?
racing. Yeah, there was supposed to be, but it's not in the game.
Oh.
There's the one map from the beta where I don't remember it all too well now, so I'm kind of talking out my ass. But They pulled it out of the game because it was like a real place that some business owned or something. I'm not sure what the specifics are.
Oh, okay.
But they pulled
so
it
it's
out
based
because
on like a
someone's-
real location.
Right, but they didn't gather the rights to that. So,
Right.
like, I don't know. They pulled out a bunch of stuff like that. And, like, I know I enjoyed the gameplay because it's back, like, how it was in the old Call of Duties, right? But I don't know. I still have battles with myself. I have to buy a stove, man. I can't be spending $70 when I have a broken stove. Even though I just
Real adult
dropped
things.
$200 on a hard drive.
Right? Like, stop being responsible over
Right.
here.
Yeah, use a fire. It's fine.
Yeah, Mama Post won't. That won't fly.
I could give you my 4090. You can just plug it in. And it'll
So it'll
heat up
it'll
and-
finish the job. It'll finish the job. That might.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
You can cook a pizza over it. Go ahead.
Ooh. Pizza sounds good. I'm hungry.
You know what? Yeah, if DarkFusion doesn't work out, we can take all these components and basically make a cooking company. This is
There you go.
great.
I like that.
That would
All three of us. This is great.
that would almost be kind of a fun little YouTube channel, just making food on poorly equalized thermally computer parts and pieces, kind of like
Yeah,
how
just-
people
just-
drop an egg on a hot car in California.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, just drop an
Right.
egg on a CPU and fry it.
I have seen a video. A guy got a piece of steak and was holding it on like an older Pentium or something.
Oh, yeah.
It was cooking. It was cooking. It
Nice.
worked.
You know, that's kind of something I find fun. I was one of those people that said I don't want to go on TikTok, but the algorithm for TikTok just works, man. It just works. And now, like, I mean, not that it's necessarily good content, but like watching people use shaving cream as, you know, thermal paste on a CPU, or cooking a steak, like that's the kind of stuff I see that stuff all the time on TikTok. And that's also how I found out about the AMD clips. Like anyways, that's a tangent, but I don't know.
So you're addicted to TikTok, is what you're saying,
Dude, I'm not even gonna tell you how many hours a week I spend on TikTok. Guess.
Oh no.
Guess
Yeah.
4?
16. I'm gonna say 16.
That's it's like 16. I watch it as I'm trying to fall asleep. And then
Oh
what
my
happens
gosh.
but then what happens is I don't go to bed because I'm just watching all this stuff that's so stupid, but I have to keep watching. And
It's
it's
almost
all
a full day.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
It works, man.
It's disgusting.
Those
Well,
algorithms.
it's like if the algorithm works and it hits it, like I don't know, man. It's bad. It's bad. That's just like I don't know.
So happy I don't have that bug. Like because I don't have TikTok or like I don't really use Instagram. So, but obviously I'm on YouTube a lot,
Right.
and there's YouTube Shorts, and like
Right.
every now and then I'll somehow wind up on the Shorts
Then
tab.
you get on this fucking thing of like 30
But I'll
minutes,
scroll through like 2. I'm just like it was
Oh.
just getting good, and then it ended, and then
okay.
it replays the same thing. Like
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Then don't go on TikTok because it'll just
I'm-
be something that gets
yeah.
you for like I'm not joking.
I'm
I'll
a
go lay down
long
to bed.
form content kind of guy, and
I am too.
I'm lucky.
I have a
lucky in
short
that
attention
aspect.
span, and I need anyways. So Midwest Gaming Classic, Henry. That's where we met.
Yes.
Are you going next year?
We tickets already bought. Table already
Are they
picked
sell?
out.
Are they
ready to
sell?
roll.
Tickets
For the
for the
for
vendors.
us for the vendors.
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So were you
everything's
in like one of the rooms?
yes. Our company has the table in the vendor hall, and we're usually in. There's like different zones. And they're all different. They're priced differently, but we try to be in a thoroughfare
Okay.
if we can be.
Because
So,
I probably saw you one of the times I was there. I was not there with Post because he didn't invite me because apparently we're not friends.
No.
Post, come on.
No. Weren't you like out of like? Not that I didn't ask you because
To be fair, I think I was out of
you were
town
you
this
were out of
year.
town that week. You said, "Oh, I couldn't
I
have
think I
gone
was
anyways."
Yeah, I think I was in Minnesota, but still,
It's okay.
have you
Okay.
gone in years past before this year?
So coming up will be our third year. So we went back a few months ago, or like 8 months ago, or whatever it was, and then we also went in the November show, which was like a
Yeah.
2020 like remake, or makeup.
Yeah, because
And
I
that was
did
our
go to
very
that
first
one, and I want to say I maybe saw
probably-
your stuff there because I
probably
do
did. We were
recall
there.
it. Okay.
We have like the big black like drape logo all over it.
hmm
That's us. But yeah, well, we're really excited. It's a really fun time. I'm really bad about walking around. I mean, obviously, we manage our booth, but now that I have someone to help me out, I end up buying a lot of stuff. There's a lot
That's
of
the
really cool
problem,
stuff there.
right? Yeah.
It's bad. Like,
It's
do I need a Dreamcast? No. Will I buy a Dreamcast this year? Probably. That's the way she goes.
it's a dangerous place. I'm not gonna even tell you what I almost bought 3 times, and then my daughter's with me. So okay, they had one of
So
the
you
booths.
couldn't buy the body pillow?
No, it was what do you call it? The gauntlet from Infinity War. What you call? I forget what it's actually called because I don't.
Well, it's the
watch
Infinity
those.
Gauntlet, right?
Is that
Yeah,
what
Infinity
it is? Okay,
Gauntlet.
sorry, I'm not a Marvel guy, but
Then why would you buy it?
because it was really cool. And then my daughter's like next to me, like nudging me, like, "Come on, Dad, get it. It's only $200, Dad. Come on, Dad."
You're like, only $200. I got a stove to buy.
You're right.
Well,
We gotta eat.
yeah, I almost did though. I really almost. Maybe I wasn't as close as I thought, but that's good. So are you doing anything different this next year, or you can't spoil that yet?
I can't spoil it yet. We may
you can.
have a
Bucket
game.
Bites
We have like a game and an actual system set up though. TBD. So that'll be kind of cool, just so people can see, like, okay, here's X, Y, and Z game. And we have to make sure that we're compliant because I think there are some rules with showing copyrighted content on the floor. I do have to double check, but I want to at least have some kind of measurement that people can say, hey, look, this tiny little thing is playing Crisis or whatever, right?
Right.
At high frame rate with reasonable temperatures. But we want to make sure that because it's in a commercial environment, we don't want to violate anyone's licensing. But worst case is run like like the Heaven benchmark or something and have that on site, have that cycling. But
no, you gotta run
TBD
Cyberpunk 4K full ray trace on a 240 hertz monitor. And if you don't do that, then it's no deal.
It's all up for grabs.
It's all for nothing. It's
all for nothing.
It's for nothing. Cool. No, I know that. I'm really excited to go in next year. I almost did this year, but next year for sure I'm going to be getting the VIP thing. I know that there's kind of like stuff that they do with that. I don't know what's all in there. I kind of asked some people, but it was a really good event, and I know that anybody that's local to Milwaukee, this is a spoiler alert. We might do a giveaway for some tickets for that next year. Maybe go as a group or something. I'm not sure how that'll work out, but
yeah, maybe invite your friend Josh this time.
Who?
And your new friend Henry.
Yeah, well, you'll be there, so I don't have to.
Yeah, you'll already be there.
Well, I have. That's why I have a coworker. Maybe.
Oh, there you
maybe
go.
it was a group.
That'd
No,
be a good time.
unfortunately, I will not. Unfortunately, but I will have to maintain the booth fully this time. It's his turn to check everything out.
Oh, to peruse the floor.
Peruse the floor and buy things that he doesn't need.
Gotcha.
Maybe he does.
So, I do have to ask you one last question before we get into the bite bucket, which is the bite bucket today is going to be interesting. But we did have a question from the Discord, which was, what's the origin of the logo, and then what do the birds represent? Because there's a lot of bird representation in some of your products.
Yes, correct. So are you referring to this one or
Sure.
like the two-box one?
Yeah, we
or
can start with that.
also,
We can start with that. Or is there another logo that I'm not aware of?
Well, so there's like so each product has their own thing. So like the Dark Phoenix and Dark Phoenix Pro have the well, I guess it's actually my Discord thing here. It's the Phoenix logo. You can go to DarkFusionSystems.com. You can see that. That's like the product logo.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Dark Raven is Raven, and the Dark Strix, the cable management stuff. It's like a mythological owl creature. So this logo just honestly came from, if you really want to know, I wanted something that would fit our brand, which is kind of that edgier, more sinister look to it. But it was very, very clear, and it didn't really look like anything else.
Okay.
You couldn't really confuse it with anything else. And it's something that I could create as someone who's not a trained artist. It's something I actually could create myself.
Okay.
So that's really the origins of it. We actually may do a rebranding at some point and maybe try to keep some of the themes of that, but something that's maybe a little more fun. I don't know. TBD. But that's the origins of this main logo. And then what we'll do for like our shirts, actually we have one right here. This is our contractor's shirt. So and then this is what we'll be wearing. So
Okay.
come find us at MGC.
Gotcha.
But then there's this one, which is basically just a break off of this, which
Okay.
is basically it's a computer box if you kind of think about it, but it's like broken up.
Sure.
Two side panels. It's kind of fun. Then that's the origin of that side.
Okay.
But then the birds. So the Dark Phoenix actually came out of this idea of, okay, I want to create something that's better than myself. I want this to be, actually I think it's written on our website, a vessel of greatness, something that kind of transcends myself and anyone who's part of the business. Just whatever the best part of the people who are at the company can put in, they kind of put it into the bucket. And so the idea of rising again, and even though humans are flawed things, they always have the opportunity to rise again. And that's the idea of the Dark Phoenix. That was the very first product. And then I was thinking, okay, well, we're starting to kind of get into these other pieces. Now, obviously, a phoenix is not real, maybe. Who knows?
It's
real. Right. Hey, I mean, but
right
yeah, exactly.
You got my joke.
But
that's a good one. Anyways.
But no, it's all right. But then, okay, I like the idea of mythological birds because they're flying. They're flying. You don't know if they're real or not. They have a story. Each one of them has a story, and they fly above everything else. That was really the idea. But of course, they're not like, okay, this is a dove or this is an eagle. They all have a very sinister side to them. There's the Dark Phoenix, right? It's a little edgier, broken hero potentially. The Dark Raven, okay, ravens are kind of an allegory, but they're you find them a lot in a lot of horror or kind of sinister poetry, so on. The Raven,
never know.
Right? Yep. And then the Strix is another mythological bird, which is basically an owl. And so they're all kind of fitting into that family. Yes.
I did not know what a Strix was until today.
Yes, it's effectively an evil owl.
Even cooler. That is actually even cooler. So you're into all these mythological flying animals. I'm assuming then you're looking forward to the Harry Potter game coming out next year.
I've heard about it. I haven't watched a ton of the trailers or anything like that. And I'm honestly, this is a total side note, and maybe we can talk about it in the next podcast, but I've really tried to step away from watching trailers because I've learned from a buddy who works, actually, I can't say the name of it, it's one of the larger production companies in Hollywood. And a lot of times the people who are making the trailers are not the same people in the studio making the movie or the show or the content. Oh. And so there can be a lot of spoilers that are in there, and it can totally misrepresent the show.
Okay.
And I'm getting some head nods, but
yeah. So like I've met a lot of marketing folks. It's like in gaming. I've actually been told by different marketing teams that they use my content because they don't know the games that they're actually making the marketing materials for, including trailers. So they're given footage of the game from the developers, and they don't know the backstory or where they're coming from. They just have this chunk of footage to build into a trailer, and they know what works for a trailer. But to your point, they might not know what's a twist or what might be from the audience perspective, what might be a surprise or what have you. So yeah, I'm the same way as you, where it's like if something interests me enough, I'm not going to watch a trailer. I'm just like, all right, I'll check it out when it comes out. I don't want to spoil myself.
Well, and on that note, you get so much cultural blowback from something. There was a game called Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I really loved that game, but it put me down. I remember when it came out, it put me down so much because I was having zero problems with the game. I loved it. And then you hear all these Steam reviews and all these, online game reviews like, this game sucks, it doesn't work, and the story's stupid. It's like, because that kind of hurts you. It's like, I actually really like this game. So I try to just, if I can, try to isolate myself from it because it's not helpful. It go as blind as I can. If I don't like it, then whatever. If I love it, then great. Don't listen to the haters. They design it. You can't make a game. You can't make art. You can't make a YouTube channel. You can't make a podcast for every single human being.
Right.
I know that.
You make your niche and you own it. And that's the podcast.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out, but
that's okay. I think you kind of have, though.
Thank you. Yes, we've definitely narrowed it down quite a bit since we've started. No, you're 100% correct in that. So there is a game that recently came out called Scorn. It's Scorn.
Heard of it.
that game, a lot of people from the trailers thought it was going to be some really cool, like crazy, spooky horror action adventure game.
Well, I thought from the trailers that it was going to be like a Doom like or Quake like boomer shooter.
Right.
And
A
then
lot of people
when you were
thought
like
that.
it's like Myst, I'm like, what?
No, and that's why I think you might actually like kind of really enjoy this game, even though it's not quite as in depth maybe. But the game it's like a spooky Myst. It's if Myst was in hell.
Look this up here in a minute. Tab.
It's a gorgeous game with decent. The puzzles are just decent. They're not great.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the artwork on the game is fantastic. But a lot of people were like, hey, I was expecting Quake or Doom, with awesome well, Doom has great graphics. The new ones at least do. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking, that's why you got to go in knowing what to expect. You got to fucking read. You got to read what the game is. And even then you could be misled.
Well, yeah, I was going to say like marketing is weird sometimes.
So, and it almost makes you think like, were they being dishonest with their marketing? I don't think so personally, because I never got the, idea that this game was not, like a puzzle adventure game. It's not quite as much of an adventure.
I don't know what I saw that made me think that, but like and my only exposure to it was like
trailers.
Is that what it was?
It's from gameplay trailers because they showed combat in it, which they shouldn't.
Because
the worst part of the game. Sorry.
So like if combat is such a minor part of the game, it is strange that they focused on it.
Right.
But again, to your point, was it purposely misleading because it that's
right
kind of what's more popular. Like
sure,
a first-person shooter is gonna sell more than a Myst-like puzzle game.
Especially when you're not shooting most of it. You're using a lot of the game you get like it's like a jackhammer essentially. It's not even a gun. So anyways, spoilers, not really, but there's combat in the game and it's awful. But the rest of the game is gorgeous, beautiful, and really delightful actually for what it is. So I don't know. Okay, so Henry.
Yes.
Before we kind of shift into our kind of interesting bite bucket that we're gonna have here today, we've been asking you a lot of questions. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, Suggestive Gaming. Where did you get this idea to? Because you have a unique YouTube channel. You're taking almost like crowdsourcing ideas for gaming and for videos. I think it's a good idea too. What kicked off the idea for YouTube channel? Are you still just as happy as when you started it?
So the suggesting idea has kind of fallen to the wayside, but
okay.
The channel started. It actually wasn't myself. It was my brother-in-law's brother.
Oh, okay.
His name's Chris. He started the channel with me, but it was his idea. And eventually, he also came up with the idea of doing like the story summaries, like for new game releases. You kind of recap the series thus far. And I took that idea and ran with it. And then that became our most successful kind of series. And so I just kind of kept, I took the ball and I ran with it essentially with that one. And he stepped away because these videos are not fun to make. I will say that. So it's like, it is work. Like it's right, a lot of work. Absolutely. So he was like, you know what? I'm just going to let you kind of take it and run with it because you're doing a great job. So he's just like, I'm going to let you just take it. So since then, I've just been doing it myself. And to your question, is it as fun as when it started? I get a lot more enjoyment out of it now that it's bigger. Like it's grown to a success that I never imagined when we first started it in my parents' house, 6 years ago or whatever. So like it is great that, that is essentially a full-time job now. Like that's crazy to me. So like that adds to the enjoyment of it that I, built something like that.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of work, and the videos, like I said, they're not fun to make. Like you'd think, like, oh, you get to play through a bunch of video games, like that's just got to be fun. It's like
It's not
no,
that easy.
because
Yeah.
you're not playing them to have fun. You're playing them because like you're on the clock trying to get stuff out
Yeah.
as quickly as possible. So when I have to play through every single Resident Evil game over the course of a couple months, it's not fun.
So then I'm gonna follow up that then with 2 more questions, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
If knowing what you know now, would you do the same? Would you get back? Would you do the same job? Do this, start or basically be one of the founding members of Suggestive Gaming? Would you still do it?
Oh yeah.
Knowing what you know now. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
And if you could do anything differently, one thing, what one difference or what one thing you do differently?
I think, well, I mean the story stuff, like I do a good like job at it, and like I know how to do it now, like that, and that does well. People enjoy it, so like I would have done that earlier. But also I've done one video, and it was actually Post mentioned that 2 weeks ago we talked to a UK artist named Shura, and I met her through a video that I made that was more opinion based as opposed to just covering the story of a game. So I think like going back, I'd like to focus on that more, like doing more of like a video essay type deal as opposed to just what I do now. But and I always could do that in the future. It's just I'm so busy doing the other stuff, it's hard to focus on it.
Sure. All right. Well, thanks, Josh. I appreciate it.
Oh,
All right.
thank you for asking. Thank you for the interest.
It's cool. It's really, I don't know. I think it's really an interesting. It's a very interesting career path, interesting business to be in. I mean, you're a media company at the end of the day, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
And a person, TV or internet personality. That's cool. That's really really cool.
I love.
I still don't like to think of it that way.
I mean, well, and it's not a bad thing at all. On the contrary, I think it's really cool.
No, and yeah, it is. It like when we before we started, you were like, yeah, I'm actually a subscriber. I'd seen your videos before. Like that's still weird to me. I get that every now and then. The guy who installed my internet was just like, oh, because he saw my YouTube plaque.
Sure.
It was like, oh, like what do you do? And I told him, and he opened up his YouTube app. He's like, I'm subscribed to you, and I was like, oh shit, look at that.
That's awesome.
It's a beautiful thing, though. I guess that's really cool. Also, might be a little unnerving, though. I guess, like you said, so. But,
yeah, it's weird. It's more weird than anything.
So actually, here's the last question I have for you. And no, I interrupted you. Go ahead first.
No. I was just saying it's more weird than anything like that. People have seen my videos. Like it's just strange.
When was the last time you were called out in public? Like, oh my gosh, like, can I get a picture with you?
Never.
Okay.
Never once. And I'm very happy that I don't really show my face in my content, so people don't recognize me. What's weird is my mom wears like Suggestive Gaming merchandise out all the time.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
she's been asked like 3 times. Like, oh, Suggestive Gaming. I like Suggestive Gaming. And she's like, that's my son. And I was like, you've been recognized more than I have. But I'm fine with that. I heard
really
somebody
sweet.
talking about my content once at GameStop.
Oh.
And that was the furthest it went.
Hopefully good.
Well, it was before Kingdom Hearts came out, and they
Okay.
were like, nobody knows the Kingdom Hearts story, and somebody was like, well, actually, there was a video on YouTube, and like they were describing my video. I know for a fact, and I was like, I could step in and be like, I made that, but I'm not going to because I have social anxiety. Bought my game and I left.
That's great.
All right, Ryan, I'm going to do the same thing to you.
Oh.
What got you into making this? Oh, are we running out of time?
No, not at all.
What got you into doing this?
Man. Well, so Bucket Bites, the idea of the show is something that I've wanted to do for, man, I don't know, probably 10 years now. I've talked about it with Josh in the past. We kind of almost did one, but it wasn't this format. It was more one-on-one.
I invested in equipment and everything, and then Post found a different guy instead. And
No, that's not true. That is not true. But where is he now? No, but so for Bucket Bites, it's always been my something I've wanted to do to, I know what it's like to be the small guy out there. Like literally, I'm not tall. I mean, I'm round, but but I know what it's like to be the small guy where you don't have a lot of people that are out there supporting you, that they don't know about you, and I just want to go out and help. however I can, whether it's, like all of my friends, I do, I could probably do more, but I do a lot with supporting and marketing out my friends. And just now I want to do that with new people that I'm meeting as well.
That's so cool.
Whether it's local companies or, like I really want to have there. We had 2 game devs actually that were scheduled to be on, but then some stuff kind of fell apart. And I would love to have some game devs on at some point. Indie devs, nothing super big, super crazy, but just helping out people. I just, doing what we can to help each other out. So
that's super cool.
That's why I do it. And also to plug my coffee and, and some other stuff.
That's the main reason.
That's the only reason. It's a write-off for my coffee company. I'm just kidding. Josh, we did have one question from you for chat though. I can't read his name. It's red. And question for Suggestive Gaming: when is episode 12 of Thrown Out coming out?
Was that your question? Is this all?
Yes, it was my question. I wasn't gonna read it, but whoever 414 pseudo is, they said this.
Got it.
So that's kind of an inside joke, but
I've said for years, and I maintain this, that when Suggestive Gaming becomes my full-time 100% job, and I don't have any other job, I will finish Thrown Out.
Perfect. Excellent. Done deal. Just quit your other job, then we can just do it. So,
No,
Henry,
that's the only reason I'm still there.
Thrown Out is a machinima that Josh and I worked on. Are you aware of what a machinima is? I'm assuming you might be.
Yeah, a little bit. So that used to be a lot more popular a few years ago with like Halo 3, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we had.
I made a couple of those.
Did you?
Not good. Yeah, don't. The YouTube channel's gone, and it should be.
Well,
but
Josh and I had made a Fallout 3 machinima called Thrown Out, and it was somewhat popular. You could find it on the Xbox.
It did fairly well.
You could find it on the Xbox app, and we got busy.
Well, I don't know if I told this story on Bucket Bites, but I think I'm the reason that Machinima closed down their they took off all of their partnered content. Did I tell this story on Bucket Bites or no?
I don't think you actually told. I think you might have said it in After Hours in episode. Oh, okay. We were talking about it off podcast on your last time on before. So
essentially, Machinima, the company, they were a huge YouTube channel. They were at one point, I think, like one of the top 5 YouTube channels, and they had a partnership program where they would reach out to like Machinima creators to like post their content on the Machinima channel.
Mm-hmm.
This is before they became like a multi-channel network and would actually network with other channels. Like I would make content, give it to them, and they would post it on the Machinima channel.
Mm-hmm.
So it did pretty well because it was on their channel and people liked it. So over the years, they got sold and bought by different parent companies, but these like partner videos still existed out there. And then one day, Post and I were talking about finishing it, and I was like, who even owns the rights to that thing anymore? So I reached out to like who owns Machinima now, and I was like, hey, I posted this like content for you guys like a decade ago. Can I like just have that back? Like, can I just post it on my channel? And they I think they called me even, and they're like, hey, so we're still going through like the transitional process here. Do you have a copy of your contract?
Yep.
And I was like, no, I do. But I was like, if you guys don't have a contract, well, then there's no record of who owns this. So, and then like a week later, all of the partner content on the Machinima channel was nuked. Like it's gone. So like not just our stuff, but like everybody who released through the partner program is just gone off of there. And I still think that I was the one. I was the catalyst.
100%.
Because someone reviewed that in legal and probably
because they're
got
like
a little
They're like, oh shit! Like we don't have any of these contracts. We don't know the rights to any of this. Let's just wipe it and wipe the slate clean and call it a day. So if you can't watch Arby and the Chief on the Machinima channel anymore,
it's your fault.
You're welcome.
You fucking jerk.
God, I haven't heard someone say Arby and the Chief like At least
Yeah.
10 years.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, probably more because that was like 2010.
That's what
So that's probably 10
that's what I
years
was
ago.
watching when I was a wee lad.
Yeah. No, that's disgusting.
Wow.
Gosh, we're so old. Anyways. Yeah, no. So good job, Josh. Way to ruin everything for everybody.
That's why I'm here. Here to make the internet a worse place.
So before we transition into the kind of modified bite segment today, I'm gonna just kind of shout out the giveaway again today from Henry. DarkFusion Systems is providing 2 awesome, really cool mouse pads. They are not small ones. They, unlike their systems, they are decent, pretty full size ones. 35 by 12, I think they are, right? 12 and almost 13 inches.
Those, I believe, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so,
they're 4 millimeters thick, which again doesn't sound very big, but when you get a nice mechanical keyboard on them,
yeah,
it feels
Yeah.
great. It really does, and that's what I'm used. That's what I use every day. This last year.
And the design on them is pretty slick. It's not like some garbage that we're trying to pass away. These are actually really nice mouse pads. So if you've been watching live, there's been a code on the screen this whole time. I can't say it out loud. It's currently flashing because I'm clicking violently. But if you click on the link that's in the description or do ! giveaway in the chat, apparently I can't for some reason because that didn't work. But I will post the link anyways. It'll also be in the description field. It'll also be in the description field. Oh, it ended up posting when Dom did it. Oh, because I said giveaway instead of give away.
Oh, that'll do it.
Jesus.
Amateur.
I've been on one lately, but so there's been a live code in there. We're also going to be doing that gives you an extra 10 entries into the giveaway. But for those of you listening or watching this after the fact, you can also get one just by listening. Right now is when I'm going to say that code. Or should I wait? I'm going to do it now. If I can find the code. Uh-oh, where's the code? Did I lose it? Guys, I think I lost it.
Every time I'm on this show, I'm impressed with Post's profession, like how well it's a well-oiled
Where'd it
machine,
go?
This bucket bites.
Where did it go? It was there before.
God,
Are you gonna blame this on the? Are you gonna blame this on the hard drive too?
I was just gonna say, yeah.
No, this is on a web browser.
You
It's
blame it
not
on
there
Samsung?
anymore. Hold on a second. I gotta refresh it. It's gotta be in there. It's gotta be in there.
Samsung.
Because I even wrote it down. Okay, well, I have it written down. It's not gonna be in the actual sign up right now, but it will be later. So go check it out later. But the giveaway for people listening to the recording or watching it now, it's gonna be, the code is Raven BB. So Raven Bucket Bites, basically.
Cool.
RAVEN Bravo Bravo are the 2 last letters. So Raven BB is for your live entry, which I will have to update and fix that later. So I apologize for that as well. Yeah, Josh, you really are my good luck. You're just really good luck for me, man.
This time he's blaming it on Samsung. Last time he blamed it on a tree falling on his internet line.
Dude.
So
Yeah, what's next?
Okay,
what's
so
number 3 here?
So just upon further review, I'm pretty sure it was only the transformer blowing up, not the twig on my line. Just for the record.
it was funnier when it was a tree, though.
But you know what though? Have you noticed? I've had no issues. No issues when you're not
when
on
I'm
the
not
show.
here.
There's been literally 0 issues when you're not here. So
The energy, man.
Yeah, I guess. Like it's just, I'm such like I make you so nervous.
But anyways, so yeah, let's just dive into our modified bite bucket today.
All right,
so
starting with sound bites, right?
I have one fucking sound ready to go.
Oh, God, he got it.
I do have one. I have only
got
one.
it.
Normally I do like 5 sounds. Actually with Dom last week I did 10 sounds. But so we're gonna have 1 sound. So basically, Henry, this is a game for you. I'm gonna play a sound.
Oh no.
And you gotta tell me what it's from, and I'll play it up to 3 times.
Oh no. This is
Dude.
not my area of expertise, but let's let it rip.
It's okay. The one sound you have is a super easy sound. Don't even sweat it. All right?
Don't say that now.
Henry, if you do not get the sound right, we're ending the podcast.
Oh no.
That's how easy this one is. Okay?
Okay.
All right, here it comes in 3, 2.
Oh, that's the Intel.
Yes,
that's the Intel
it's
sound.
the Intel
Okay.
sound. Yes. Okay. Good job. Thank you.
Okay. If I didn't get that, I would just. I'm out.
That's why I said.
End the podcast yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do the podcast myself, and that's the end of that.
Oh man, no, that was good. No,
I thought it was some obscure cultural reference or something. Okay.
That was the game I was getting prepared on my lunch today before my everything locked up, and I couldn't remember all the sounds that I had, and now I'm sad. So
Yeah, that's the old Intel Inside sound.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
Cool. Maybe next time you come on, if you ever want to come back on, because of my level. Okay, good. See, wow, I could fuck up a lot more, and he.
You know where to find me now.
Okay. So we're gonna play 2 more games. Okay. So like I said, unfortunately, the bite bucket's kind of crappy today. But like I said, you can just come back and it'll be a good time. The next bite is a game that actually we debuted last week on our Halloween episode with Dominic. This game is called Review Bites. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of games, and I'm going to read you Steam reviews. You need to tell me what the game is reviewing. Okay?
Okay.
I quite enjoyed this in our trial run last week, so I think it'll be a good time.
Can we are they like recent games?
Yeah.
Some are not.
Okay.
So
it's just anything that's on Steam.
And
it could be anything on Steam.
It could be anything that's on Steam.
Okay.
Anything, and I try to avoid anything super obscure. Like there's a game called Sex with Hitler or something like that. I only know that because it's in my game. I'm not. Never mind. We're just gonna.
You only know that because you have every achievement.
I got him a trophy. We played it together. Anyways, that doesn't make it better. All right. So this first review comes from username Vector _, and the review is: a car was driving slowly in front of my fire truck, heading for a fire at my favorite building. The building burnt down. So I found the car driver's house and bulldozed it. Screw you, Albert Wilson from the Anchor Residence. 11 out of 10 would bulldoze again.
Not City Skylines.
And if you want me to read it again, I will read it one more.
Is Josh is part of this too, right?
Yeah, I guess too.
Yeah, if Josh wants to guess too. I don't know if Josh will know this one, but he can definitely guess.
I'm gonna guess some kind of construction simulator.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
construction.
I'll read it. I'll read it again if you want me to.
Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, rip it.
A car was driving slowly in front of my fire truck, heading for a fire at my favorite building. The building burned down. So I found the car driver's house and I bulldozed it. Screw you, Albert Wilson from the Anchor Residence. 11 out of 10 would bulldoze again.
The favorite building seems like that's like the key, because like this could be almost like any like city builder kind of environmental game, but the favorite building seems to be our trick here. It's not Sims, is it?
You know, like on Price is Right when they just yell out $1. I'm just saying Elden Ring.
There you go.
I would be impressed. Wow, the mods are getting pretty good when you have fire trucks in Elden Ring. Oh man, it's not. Never mind. I was gonna make a bad joke. So any guesses from you, Henry? I thought I heard you say The Sims.
Yeah,
Is that your
it's not
final
The
guess?
Sims. Not.
I didn't say it was or it wasn't.
Sure. Sims is my final guess. Final guess.
I don't have the sound effect queued up like I should have, so I'm just gonna go.
Wait, hold on. Sims isn't even on EA. Sims is actually on the EA platform, right? It's not even on Steam.
It's on Steam.
It
now.
is on Steam.
Okay. Then it's Sims. I'm gonna guess
All right.
Sims. That's my best guess.
And the sound effect is. I can't make it good. So that's incorrect. Both of you guys failed.
Okay.
That you said it earlier though. It is Cities Skylines.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah,
come
you should
on.
go with your gut.
It was City Skylines.
I
That was
got
like your
embarrassing
first-
amount of hours in that game. That was my first
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you because I also have an embarrassing amount of hours in that game. Do you know how many hours you have in that game?
I'm gonna fire up Steam right now, but I think it's around 500.
Oh gosh. So
Let's see.
so my
I have 527 hours exactly.
527 hours exactly. You actually have more than me, so never mind. I have 212 only.
I have 2.2.
Oh my.
You know what? That's actually a super. Hey, no joke. No joke. City Skyline is a super fun game.
Oh yeah, I loved
blast.
my 2 hours.
It's I've put you can't play.
That's a
200
game
hours
that
and not
DLC actually works on though. Like that's
Yeah.
actually I actually own most of the DLC.
And
It's
I'm
because if you
and I'm the guy that doesn't buy the mods, or I don't buy the DLC because I just try to make it work with mods.
I
Anyways,
mean, hey, there's really good modding community behind City
it is,
Skylines.
but a lot of it you're stuck behind the paywall of having the DLC now too. So like, you're kind of stuck. But anyways,
Yeah.
All right, the next review. This comes to us from Sergeant Glizzy. Their idea of a new game is removing features that have been in every other game of this series, maps that were drawn up with melted off-brand crayons.
Halo Infinite.
It's not a
My
bad.
God.
That's not a bad guess.
They released a game without Forge.
I know that.
Come on.
Why do you gotta like twist the salty fingers in my wound of that game, man?
I'm a huge Halo fan. It
Yeah,
hurts. I used to have all the books. Oh goodness. 343. Well, that's a separate thing.
Yeah.
Allegedly ruined that series, in my opinion.
I
It
don't
really
disagree.
damaged
I don't
it.
disagree. Well, that's what happens when you go from one dev to another. Josh?
And also losing Marty. That was the first nail.
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
nasty.
yeah.
Not good.
Elden Ring.
Is that just gonna be the go-to every single time?
When I don't have an answer, yes.
All right. Do you guys want me to read it one more time? Because you guys are both wrong so far.
Read it one more time, please.
All right. Here's the review again. Their idea of a new game is removing features that have been in every other game of the series and maps that were drawn up with melted off-brand crayons.
Is it a shooter?
Are you using Lifeline already? To answer, yes, it is a shooter.
Is it a Call of Duty game?
You only get one lifeline. And that's apparently a new rule I just made up.
Okay. All right, that's fair. Josh, what are your thoughts?
I was gonna say Sims because but the maps thing was throwing me off. But then you said shooter,
Right.
and he said yes. So Sims is not a shooter as far as I'm aware. But that's one where every new Sims, everybody complains that they remove half the features.
Right.
So I don't know. Elden Ring.
Okay, Elden Ring. and then
Elden
what
Ring,
was-
Elden Ring.
Henry, what was your guess?
My guess was Halo Infinite, or one of the
Okay,
Halo
that's
games.
gonna be your guess. And the answer is both wrong again. This makes me happy because when Dom did this, he got them all right, but I thought he made them I thought I made them easy for him. So this game review from Sergeant Glizzy came from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
That is
So it
No,
was
that's
one
the
of those
new
odds.
Modern
Darn it!
Warfare.
Modern Warfare 2, the new one, 2022.
That's Modern Warfare 2.22.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Here comes the next one.
I do like this game. This is a very
do too.
interesting game.
Good. I'm glad. So okay, this review comes from username COVID-19.
Great.
I visited him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
and me a month ago.
Very familiar.
Yes. All right. And their review was: you can name waste collectors after your exes.
What? Can you say that word again?
Yeah.
I'm saying it as written. You can name waste collectors after your exes. It's waste collectors.
But
Was that
it
a
an
positive or negative review?
Yeah.
It was a positive review.
So it's a good thing.
Ooh, that's a
that
good.
you
That's a
can-
good thing. I should mark that down next time.
Yeah.
That's a good. I like that. That could be your lifeline.
My lifeline, is it a city builder?
You
It
used
sounds
the
like
lifeline
it's got to
already.
be.
You used the lifeline
Ah.
already.
Is it a city builder?
That was per question. Yeah.
You used one too. Is it a positive or negative?
Oh,
Oh, come on. I mean, that sounds like city skylines,
okay, hold on.
though, too.
So hold on. I do have, because I thought that one was vague. I can either reread that one again, or I also have another one.
give us another one.
Yeah. I agree
Okay.
with Josh.
It's not even a word.
So
The first one.
I just so you know, I didn't choose these based on the usernames. Okay, so I didn't. These are not the usernames I came up with. This review comes from username retard, and his review is, it's like living in the hood. You look away for a couple of seconds, and all of your money is stolen.
Farthest Frontier. That's exactly how, not the hood part, but it's Farthest Frontier. It's got to be.
Josh?
Elden Ring.
And the answer. Ring, ding, 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 ding. It is Farthest Frontier.
I got a couple hours in that game, too.
I actually, just so you know, I enjoy city builders, obviously. I've played that as well, and that game I have sunk a few hours into that game as well. That's a good one.
I've
The
never heard of this
bandit's
game,
real.
But now that I know that I could name my waste collectors after my exes, I'm in.
It actually is a very fun game, though. And actually, back to the whole game pricing thing, I think I picked up for like $29.99, and it's I think it's still early access, right?
It is still early access.
It
Yes.
feels stable, like a full game. From
Do
what
you
I've
know what though?
experienced so far.
Frames struggle sometimes. Although I only play it on my upstairs PC. You know, because I'm
Sounds
super
like
rich
you
and
need a new DarkFusion system.
Let's talk.
No, I can't. I actually, you know what though? I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want one though for podcasting, like this. If I'm doing it remotely, like I'm not joking. So it's been a thought, but the show's
Talk to me. Let me know.
All right. And here is the last game for Review Bites.
All right.
This review is a little bit longer. Okay. I'm only going to read it one time. Okay. This review comes from username Killer Rabbit. And his review is, "What's for dinner?" my kids asked. "I'll pick up some pizza," I responded. "When?" they asked. "In just one more turn, I promise," I said. 6 hours later, the lights are off in the rest of the house. I think they gave up and fed themselves cereal. Or maybe my wife packed them up in the car and left to go to her mother's house. I really don't know. I'll go check after this one more turn. Or maybe after the next one. Seriously, who does that? I only made them wait an hour. I'm not that heartless. And because the Steam Awards requires an update, a couple thousand turns later, my wife is back home.
Oh.
The kids haven't starved, and I still enjoy playing this game. This game is very deserving of the just 5 more minutes. Well, that gave it away. Just 5 more minutes award.
Civilization.
Yeah, which one?
You're saying 6?
I'm just saying 6 because it's the newest one.
Newest one. I'm guessing 6 too. I have the most hours in 5, but
and
6.
that was great, dude. So I was giggling to myself when reading this review. I just had so much fun with it. So you were correct. You are correct. Ding 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 ding. My professional mouth noises, sound effects. So good job. You guys like that? Do you guys like that game? Is that a fun game? Good. That's gonna be that's gonna be an every guest staple from now on. So
you should especially do one if you have a guest that doesn't play video games.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Give them a list of potential games too, though. Maybe just to help them out. If they're not if they're completely clueless, you know.
Sure.
I don't know. Match the review to the game or something, like an interactive thing.
We could. That'd be fun. I'm glad you guys liked that because that was
good.
Okay. Good. All right. So we could play 2 more if we wanted to wing the last one. But the next game is called 8-Bit RAM Test. Okay. So the way that this game works is you are going to have 10 seconds to name 8 something. Okay?
Okay.
Now there's a rule. These are going to be for a type of video game. Okay? And they cannot be in a numerical series. That
So
being
like one per series.
right. So if you have like a game title 1, game title 2, game title 3,
Okay. Halo. You can't say Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
correct. However, if if it is part of a series that has not numerical names, you can use that. Okay? If that makes sense. All right. All right, Henry,
I'm going first.
you're going to go first.
Okay.
Oh, I have to play this too. I was just sitting back.
that-
and
that's-
Oh, you gotta play.
That's well, then I'm going to have to think of something. I'll let Henry pick your topic then. How about that? Cuz I only
Oh,
came
no.
prepared with one topic. All right, Henry.
Okay,
So
well-
you have 10 seconds. Let me get my
Okay.
timer out
Yep.
cuz I'm ill prepared.
10 seconds for 8?
Yes.
Oh, that only leaves you like 2 seconds leeway.
I know. So, you've got, and I say 10 seconds, but really I give like 12. So,
Okay.
here we go. You're going to name 8 first-person shooters. Okay?
Oh no. Okay.
Ready? Set. Go.
Okay. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo. Okay. Technically, Red Dead Redemption. Oh God. Crisis. Fortnite. Oh no, Fortnite's third person, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we're that's extreme. That's extremely hard.
It's hard, dude.
Maybe I should
I was
raise it up
thinking
to
about a
20.
Steam library here.
I know. So, if you can name,
Valiant effort.
so to redeem yourself, if you can name 5, and you'll have 10 seconds to do this.
Okay.
To redeem yourself, if you can name 5, 10 seconds. If you can name 5 city builder games, you redeem yourself. Set, go.
All right. Cities, Skylines, Farthest Frontier, Banished, SimCity,
more.
and then Europa Universalis
Okay, it
4.
worked,
Technically,
It worked.
technically, it's a empire builder.
Okay, I'll give it. It works. It works.
All right, there we go.
Good job.
That's my life, so I better get that.
That's. I'm glad that I asked you about the video games you played before the show because I wouldn't have known what to come up with.
That's okay.
For that.
That's okay.
Okay. Josh, do you want to have a go? You'll have 15 seconds or 12 set. Well,
What is it? 10? I thought it was 10 seconds for 8.
It's 12 seconds. 10.
Oh,
well,
12 seconds.
I say 10 seconds for 8, but I really give 12.
Oh,
So
I see.
that's how that
I
works.
see.
What if we make them do retro games or retro game consoles?
Retro game consoles?
You gotta
Yeah,
name
but
8
some of them get
retro
really
consoles.
long. Like, yeah, what do you think?
Think you can
What's
do
that?
it?
I could try. I could try.
Right.
Wait. What's retro? Like how old?
Anything that's not current.
Pre 05. Yeah, pre 05. Because
Okay,
you can't say like an Xbox 360, even though it technically is
That's
you know,
04.
more than 15. Yeah. Oh, that's technically yeah. Okay.
So I got to get 8.
Yep.
Yeah. So before 04 has to be before 04.
Okay, ready? Set. Go.
All right, NES, Super NES, Genesis, Master System, N64, Dreamcast, PS2, PS1.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Wow.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty good. All right, next game, because my brain is not meant for this type of thing.
Did I go Master System?
Yeah.
We'll count it.
Atari Jaguar. That would have been easy.
Oh, there you go.
That would have been so bad for me because I could have named like
Sega
4.
Saturn.
Yeah. The
I ever played a Saturn?
Me either.
I don't think I've ever seen a Saturn.
They have the MGC.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I'm looking so forward to
prices.
MGC now.
I'd imagine.
I'm looking so forward to it. All right.
We'll all be there, so everybody in the
Yeah.
chat, come see us.
Yes, and I probably will do a couple of tickets giveaway if you're in the Milwaukee area. And we can.
I'll be wearing this sweatshirt. I will have washed it by that time.
And I'll be
I hope
somewhere.
so.
I'll be somewhere separate from Post because he won't invite me, and I'll have to go myself.
Okay, listen, you're gonna have to get over this right now. you really need to get over this. We're gonna hold hands now when we're there. You understand this?
That's what I was hoping for this year, but you know,
No, we're not hoping. You were gone. Anyway,
I never got a call. I only made plans because I didn't get a call.
Okay.
You know?
Listen, Linda, I didn't make. Okay, it's not how it works. All right, so we can do one more bite. Holy shit! Did we really go the full 2 hours?
Time flies when you're having fun,
Dude, it does. Wow. Okay, so we can fit one more game in if you're okay if we wing it.
Let's wing it.
Wing it.
Josh knows this game, but we're not going to be prepared with questions.
Oh, okay.
This
This will still work.
This game's called You're Hired.
Are you sending me the thing?
Oh,
or
yeah,
is it on screen?
It's not on screen. So, Henry, do you have the stream up or no?
I do actually have the stream up.
Josh, do you want to actually tell me what you want to do? Maybe.
Sure. I just thought of one. We'll see if it works.
Sure. So, okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna end up you're gonna be answering interview questions for a job, and we're gonna be asking questions. Your job is to both get accepted for the job,
Okay.
and also guess the job. Okay.
Okay.
So
Just
because
by
Post
using the
explained
content
that
clues.
horribly, we have a job in mind. We're not going to tell you what the job is.
Oh yeah, that part too.
So we are going to ask you interview questions back and forth, and like Post said, you're going to try to get the job without knowing what the job is, but then at the end, guess what the job is,
Okay.
Okay. So do you still have
and
the stream up?
hopefully make.
If you
I still have the
do,
stream up. Yes.
if you do, I want you to turn it off
Okay.
so you don't cheat.
All right.
And
Close
on
the
a
tab too.
Yeah, or just minimize the tab. That's fine.
Okay.
Gotta get
Minimize.
those sweet views.
And
All
the
right.
job that Henry is applying
So-
for today is,
Job
I'm actually
for-
not going to tell you.
Garbage
You
can.
can
I
figure
mean,
it alongside with him.
The password is taxi driver.
Wow, dude, I suddenly got like a big shiver down my spine. You thought I was gonna say something else.
DSM-7B. It helps.
All right. So you're officially applying for a job. Mr. Josh, Suggestive Gaming guy. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So my first question is, do you have a fear of heights?
And then come back and okay.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
I do have a fear of heights.
Now remember, you're trying to get the job.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I do have the fear of heights, but
It's good to be honest.
no. No, I like to climb tall trees.
So are you lying? Do you have a fear of heights, but you like?
I do actually have a fear of heights, but no, for the job, I have to
So
climb
now
trees.
you're lying on your interview. Okay, thank you
Oh
for
man,
admitting
Maybe.
that. Okay. Let me ask you: are you good with? Could you distinguish a package of nuts compared to a package of, say, M&Ms?
Just make sure you guys are dual interviewing me.
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is-
yeah, same
we're
job.
both-
Okay.
We're both,
Okay.
Same job. Same
We're not
job.
going round.
Yes.
Ye- trying to think. I'm trying to think 2 steps ahead of you guys here. I guess the answer is yes. I have a keen eye.
Okay. All right.
How would you say you are with customer service, especially with potentially ornery folks?
I like to put myself in the shoes of the other person, and that helps level set things a lot of the times.
In this particular role, you may not always be in a level setting. Would you say that you're a rather well-balanced person? I mean, physically.
Is this a pilot? Can I make my guess?
This guy. Who does he think he is? Who does he think he is? You gotta wait till the end, mister.
Okay. Do you want repeating the question one more time?
So the question is, because you said that you find yourself to be a well-balanced individual, do you mean so physically or just emotionally, mentally?
I consider myself a well-balanced person in all facets, mentally, physically, and it comes to my skill set. Master of jack of all trades.
Okay.
And then my final question would be, are you okay with being away from home for most of the week?
I am.
Excellent. Are you this is a two-part question. Are you a family man?
I am a family man.
Do you like staying away from your family?
I don't, but I make do, and especially when they respect and understand the career path that I've made, or I'm on.
All right. And
That was just my question, asked slightly differently.
I couldn't get it think of anymore.
Okay, so you've interviewed for the job. We'll let you know if you're hired if you can guess the job.
I'm guessing a pilot.
A little different.
But the nuts.
Yeah, you gotta think about the
Well,
nuts.
I thought about
The
Southwest Airlines. They always give you a pack of peanuts and
But the
M&Ms.
pilot is the pilot coming out of the cockpit and
Steward.
giving you the nuts.
The
Steward.
steward.
There
Okay.
you go.
Is the
Flight
steward?
attendant.
Okay.
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant,
That's,
flight attendant.
that's the
Yes.
PC.
Yes. So,
Excellent.
I don't know, Josh. You wanna?
You lied about the tree thing.
He likes to go. He's a big monkey man. He likes to swing from tree to tree.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Okay. So we've deliberated. I can't even say that word. You'd think I had more than 6 margaritas today.
We've debilitated.
Complicated. No. So. Yeah, I give him a thumbs up.
Yeah, sure. You'll get over the fear
All
of
right.
flying. Just don't look out the windows.
Yeah, he's
Right.
well balanced and he knows nuts between M&Ms. So. Good job, Henry.
Excellent. Cool. I didn't even understand the rules until about halfway through.
That's
so
okay
this is
because I did
good.
it. That's
I
what
tried. I
happens
tried
when-
to explain it more.
No, it's fine. It's not you guys.
That's what happens when
That was
I'm
fun.
left to wing things. Winging it. Oh, dude, we were winging it for an airplane job.
You know, I thought about it halfway through.
I wish
should've
everyone could
done,
have seen that little dance.
I was an airplane.
I thought about it halfway through. I should have done whatever it was, like a trash. What was it? The
Waste
review
collector?
you read? Yeah,
Waste
garbage.
collector.
Garbage
waste,
collector.
Waste collector. Collector. Yeah, no, that's great. Dude, okay, so Henry, end of the show. We gone through the bites, even though we had to kind of wing it. You were pretty good. I had a lot
thank
of fun
you.
today.
Good time. It was a very good time.
Yeah, I had a blast with you guys. This is really fun. Next time you do it and you're looking for me to be on, let me know.
Yeah, I'll have my people call your people.
Very good.
No, seriously, I did enjoy having you on the show. And I learned quite a bit. I learned a lot about you and your company. And you may be building me a little micro computer here. Maybe.
I was gonna
That'd be
say
great.
I need a PC to capture in my living room. So
Hey,
yeah.
seriously,
we'll talk.
Hey,
let me know.
so there's a question. Can you fit based on that chassis? Can you fit a internal? Would you want to go internal or external capture card?
External. I'll just
Oh, okay.
yeah, external capture. but
Well, then
still.
never mind. My question's null and void. Henry, the floor is now yours to kind of, hey, what's going on with DarkFusion? Your socials, plug it, throw whatever out. You know, if you want to throw somebody at your company under the bus, you know, I'm not here to judge you. Yeah, have at it, man.
Well, thank you. Well, I mean, the best place, like I said, there's 3 great places to get in touch with us. That's our website. We have a contact us form. Shoot us an email. Call us. Love to hear from you guys, even if it's just shit talking after this. That works for me too. We'd love to hear from you guys, seriously. And I really stand by the whole idea that, especially in the computer like subgroup of the giant tech industry, it really is a community. I know sometimes we'll bicker and everything, but it's in maybe Intel versus AMD, whatever. We're all on the same team here. We're all nerds, whether you like it or not. We're all here for the same reason, and it's really that's what we need to continue to foster. We need to make sure this is continuing to be an inclusive environment and be an awesome place for all of us. So let's keep it up. Let's keep growing this industry and keep our home getting better and better. Right.
Oh yeah.
Check out our website. You can check out our Instagram. It's at DarkFusion Systems. We do have a newsletter now that we haven't released our first newsletter yet. Pop a post here. Was subscribing to it as we were running a demo, so he was getting like the broken Latin.
Yeah,
By the way, that's since been fixed like that day. But yeah, I was actively messing around with our with the back end of the site there.
My
we do have a
email to
newsletter
him,
too.
my email to you, Henry, from that was, my broken Latin is not very good. But hey, just so you know. That was funny.
No, it was funny. I got a good kick out of it. But yeah, those are our 3 main ways: newsletter, website, obviously text and call and everything, email, and then Instagram. Shoot us a DM, even if it's just shit talking after pardon my French.
Slide in the DMs.
Slide in the DMs.
Oh, don't worry about your French here, man. I've said some pretty bad things.
No,
on this
but
show.
Anyway, everyone just keep this community awesome, and competition's amazing for everybody. Doesn't matter if it's us you're buying from or another company. Competition is so good, especially when it comes to the hardware vendors. So I'd love to see it.
I wanted to talk about that more, so we'll have to do that next time. Henry, dude, thank you
hopefully
so
be on
much.
Soon.
Yeah, well, I am going to be I'll spoil that later. There's some end of the year stuff I want to do. But
okay.
No, Henry, dude, thank you for coming on. Thank you, by the way, also for helping us do this giveaway where you're going to be giving away your 2 mouse pads. People that are watching live, you can still enter if you do the giveaway exclamation point giveaway. I can't say it or type it right, apparently. The live code is on the screen currently. If you're still listening and you missed it before, for the record, that thing was still in the actual giveaway thing, so it was not gone. I don't know why I just didn't see it before. But if you're watching or listening later, you can enter the code RAVENBB, Raven, and then BB for bucket bites or whatever you want to do, to get some extra entries into that. But dude, thank you so much. I think
guys,
I'm trying to think, just as kind of a quick little. I think we have. Is it next week or the week after? I should probably nail this down. But it is next week. I have a couple of Twitch streamers that I've met recently. They're going to be double teaming on. Going by the name of White Chili and Kushter. Just on Halloween, I played the new Ghostbusters game with them, and they are a riot. So that's what we have looking forward to next week on Friday. Henry, dude, thanks again, man. I appreciate you.
Awesome, you guys. Well, all right, time to maybe do a little bit of Modern Warfare and get to bed.
I've been seeing you play it. Not that I stalk people on.
Never, no. I never do that. Never during business hours either. Never.
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 Sounds a little sus. All right, guys. This is Bucket Bites. See you next time. Peace out.
Thank you all.